Hello everyone. Today now we'll see how to do bootstrap or jackknife or cross validation in R. Okay. So can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is we will use R Studio. Have you used R or R Studio for your multivariate and regression practicals?
Ma'am, both.
Both. Okay. So generally when I used to teach multivariate practical, I used to say that for multivariate and regression you should use R, not R Studio. From third semester onwards you should use R Studio, so because R Studio actually gives you suggestions for commands, so you don't learn even the basic commands. So generally I used to say that in first 2 semesters you should stick to R so that you are comfortable at least with the basic commands. You learn those commands by heart, and then from third semester onwards you can use R Studio. So um, we have to let us first start with non-parametric bootstrap. Okay, in non-parametric bootstrap, let me first have some random sample, and once I have the sample then we'll carry out bootstrap. So that sample, let me take from say exponential. Generally it's a good practice to write a generic code in a sense that whatever values you want to specify, it is better to specify them in advance and not use them directly in the command. Why? Because later if I want to increase sample size, I shouldn't have to change sample size everywhere in the code. I can simply change this first line and it would run automatically. Okay, similarly with the parameter. So suppose I take theta equal to 1 here. So I need a sample of size n from this theta. Right now it doesn't bother me whether this is rate or mean because anyway I have taken mean. But when you are going to take a sample from say exponential, you have to make sure that you are specifying the correct form of the parameter here, theta or 1 by theta, depending on whether you want to specify rate or mean. Is it okay? So this is my sample. Let me draw a density plot of the sample. Okay, it just computed the density. I want to plot it. Okay, this is how the density plot looks like. It looks like exponential, right? How is this density calculated? In R command density, how is this density calculated? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you repeat the question?
This command density in R, how does it calculate the density? Is it using exponential form or is it using something else? Is it using exponential PDF or something else?
Ma'am, it is using the samples only, not directly
Okay,
the PDF.
correct. It is not using exponential because it doesn't know how this
Yes.
x has come. Okay, this x is simply a set of numbers, so it doesn't know whether x has come from exponential. So using samples, how is it calculated? Yes. Do you know that this histogram can also be an approximation of density?
Yes, ma'am. If we can give that argument prob equals to true, then it will be. Ma'am, I think it is the relative frequency, whatever it is giving here.
Okay, so in histogram it is relative frequency of that class. Okay, however, here when I go for this plot, earlier plot, this is actually what is known as a kernel density curve. Okay. Okay, so this is kernel density curve. I don't know whether you have heard of this, probably not. So you should go and check out if possible. This is one of the widely used methods for estimation of density, and in fact it is used in regression also, in non-parametric regression. So kernel density function is basically a non-parametric estimator. So it doesn't use the distributional form, simply using the data. So it is slightly similar to histogram, but in histogram what you have is, for entire class you have same horizontal value, correct? So histogram is not a continuous function. Okay, so if I estimate my density using histogram, like this relative frequency approach, then I don't get a continuous density curve, even though my original sample is coming from continuous data, continuous distribution. Are you getting what I'm trying to say here?
Yes, ma'am.
Even though exponential is a continuous distribution, if I use histogram estimator of density, I am going to get such masses, right? For 0 to 0.5 I have same density, then from 0.5 to 1 I have same density, and so on. Okay, so kernel density curve actually overcomes that limitation, and it gives you a continuous curve as an estimate of density. Okay, it's a non-parametric method. So this shows me that, okay, it looks like an exponential, and suppose my aim is to get confidence interval for mode using bootstrap.
Hello, ma'am.
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am. But for that, we can deliberately go with that frequency polygon, some like things. Then why exactly kernel density curve?
Frequency polygon is also not going to be differentiable.
Yes, it will be on the basis of the histogram only.
Yeah, so it would join these midpoints, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
It would again have sharp edges, so it won't be a well behaved smooth curve.
Okay.
I mean, it would be continuous, but it won't be differentiable at those points.
Okay.
Got it? So, a smooth curve, if you need, then frequency polygon is also not going to be of use. It is polygon, so it will have too many vertices.
Yes, yes.
And those vertices would cause problems. Those points will cause problems because at that point it won't be differentiable. Okay, so yeah. So suppose aim is to give a confidence interval for exponential mode. So let me first compute sample mode. So sample mode, how do I compute sample mode? Does simply the mode command work? Have you computed sample mode in R? Did it work? What did it give me?
The type of the value,
Vector.
right?
Correct. So when I say mode, it gave me class of that vector. Mode means in which mode the data has been saved in that vector. So how do I compute sample mode? Has anyone tried before?
For discrete cases, we generally go for table and then find the maximum frequency.
Correct. And in continuous case? You never thought of this question? You have been using R at least for the 2 semesters now. In BSc, how do you compute mode for continuous data?
There was a formula for the interval.
Okay. So
and
so did
and
did anyone try using something similar, or did anyone try to find, you never felt the need for getting a mode? Okay, so now this is a homework for you. Ideally, you should have thought of this in the first 2 semesters. So now this is a homework for you. Give me some, you can either find a direct command which is available in R, or you can write a function by using the formula that you already know for sample mode. Either way is fine, but you have to come up with a command to get mode of a continuous vector. Okay, is it clear what the homework is? So today I will go for third quartile. Okay, oh, what is quantile? Sorry. Yeah, so this is sample Q3. Okay, so today I will try to find confidence interval for 75th percentile of this sample, because mode is left for you as homework. Okay, so 75th percentile is this for the current sample. Now I want to get a confidence interval for this using bootstrap. So I have to find out many bootstrap samples. So let me take b equal to say 2000. So I want to construct 2000 bootstrap samples, and using these 2000 bootstrap samples I want to get a confidence interval. So I have to write some loop for I going from 1 to b, correct? And I need a vector to store these bootstrap estimates. So let me call it Q3 star, because we are generally denoting bootstrap estimates by star. Okay, so Q3 star be a blank vector. Now every time what I have to do, I have to create one bootstrap sample, and then I have to store its Q3 of that sample in the respective position in Q3 star. Okay, so how do I draw a bootstrap sample?
Ma'am, we can use the function that is sample itself.
Sample, then what are the arguments?
A sample that is the vector x
X.
and the number of sample size.
So sample
And then
size for
sample size.
bootstrap, how would it be? What would it be? Bootstrap sample size is
n.
n. Correct. And
Yes, and
Replace.
replacement equals to true.
I have to give replace equal to true, otherwise it would be a problem. Okay, so let me see if this works. Okay, it is working. And then once I get this, I have to get Q3 of this and store it. Correct. So Q3 star at I would be quantile of S. Which quantile? This. Is it okay? Everyone with me so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I forgot to run this. So let me now see distribution of all these Q3 stars. Okay, so mode seems to be around the original sample Q3. Sample Q3 is 1.18. So you actually seem to have a mode around that value, near 1.2. Okay, and you can also have a density plot of this Q3 star to see how the distribution of this quantile looks like. Have you done what do you call asymptotic distribution of percentiles in inference course in the second?
Yes, ma'am. Not in the second semester, but in the graduation, it has been done.
Okay, but others may not have done in graduation. Pune University people, did you have asymptotic inference in graduation?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, so that is another homework. Go and look for asymptotic distribution of percentiles or quantiles. Okay, and try to see try to find the asymptotic variance of Q3 star. Sorry, not Q3 star. Asymptotic variance of Q3 hat, and see if that variance matches with the bootstrap variance. On the basis of bootstrap, I will get some variance, right? So variance of Q3 star. So this is estimate of variance of Q3 star on the basis of bootstrap. So try to see if this matches with the theoretical variance. Okay, this is another homework. You should be able to find the formula in any inference book. Even Wikipedia might have. I'm not sure, but Wikipedia does have many formulae. Okay, it involves derivative of the density at that point in the denominator, I guess. Okay, so check this. So now this is density and I can get confidence interval. How do I get confidence interval? I have to simply take 2.5th and 97.5th percentile. So Q3 star probes equal to 0.025 and 0.975. Okay, so this is the 95% confidence interval for estimate of Q3 from the sample that we have. Is it clear what is happening here and how that is happening?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is simple non-parametric bootstrap. If I want to do parametric bootstrap, how would I go about it? Why is it non-parametric bootstrap? Because we took sample from the original sample. We did not use the exponential thing anywhere here. Anywhere here, we did not use the fact that the original sample has come from exponential. We simply have the sample, we use that sample. We don't care about its distribution. Okay, hence this is non-parametric bootstrap. I can similarly have parametric bootstrap. So in parametric bootstrap, what would I do?
Estimate theta first.
Correct. So let me start with the same sample. Now on the basis of this sample, I have to estimate theta. How do I estimate theta? In exponential. What is MLE of theta?
The sample mean.
Sample mean is MLE of theta.
1 upon sample mean.
Sorry? 1 upon sample mean.
1 upon x bar.
1 upon x bar. So let me call it theta hat. So theta hat is 1 upon mean of x. So this theta hat turns out to be near 1, pretty close to 1. And now I have to use parametric bootstrap for doing the same thing that I did there. So I finally want estimate of Q3 and confidence interval for Q3. Okay, so let me compute sample Q3. Sample Q3 is quantile x 0.75. This is my sample Q3. And now I want a confidence interval for this, but now I want it to be based on parametric bootstrap. So I will use this theta hat to get multiple bootstrap samples, and of course the fact that it is coming from exponential. Okay, so I have b equal to 2000 again, let's say. Then for I in 1 to b, let me take again q3 star for storing the values of q3. For I in 1 to b, what I am going to do? How do I get the bootstrap sample?
REXP.
REXP. Sample size remains the same, and now rate equal to the theta hat, correct? Rate equal to the theta hat that I have. So let me see if it works. Yes, it works. And then q3 star at at I will be quantile of S 0.75. Is it okay? Can you see where the difference between parametric and non-parametric bootstrap lies?
Yes, ma'am.
So let me run this. And now let me try to plot density of these q3 stars. Okay, and I want to get confidence interval, so quantile q3 star probes equal to 0.025, 0.975. Okay, this is 1.026 to 1.65, and this was different. Okay, is it okay? So this is parametric bootstrap. Okay, so we have seen one example of non-parametric bootstrap, one example of parametric bootstrap. I have given you homework. Try to find command for mode and then repeat this exercise for mode. Okay, the parametric bootstrap and non-parametric bootstrap, repeat it for mode of an exponential distribution. And right now I have taken a different sample while going for parametric bootstrap, but I would suggest use the same sample, use the same original sample, apply both the methods and see how the estimates differ, how the confidence intervals differ. Okay. Is it okay? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
See, you have to talk. Last time my computer actually stopped working and I didn't even realize, because it was showing the screen but the screen had frozen and I didn't realize that the screen had frozen. I was talking. And in fact I lost the recording also because it didn't start working. I had to forcefully shut it down and I couldn't even save the recording. So you have to talk at least to make sure that I'm connected. Okay. Okay, so I think I will stop here for today. As I said, homework is to do this for mode. Please start using R. This is an applied course. You have to use R extensively. Then only you'll get comfortable with this. Okay. And I have posted very small, very easy practice exercises. Just 2-3 questions and they are very easy, but do go through them. Okay. They are based on preliminaries. I will try to post some questions on the basis of this resampling and validation method soon, because now I think we won't have much left to discuss except for few more things in R. Okay, so let me stop here for today. Thank you.